Hi, it's Ryan here from smartsportstrader.com, and in today's video I wanted to look at, is match betting still worth it as we go into 2020? Okay, so why are people even asking the question, is match betting still worthwhile or not? And the major thing that's really been said about match betting probably in the last year or so is that it's not as profitable as it has been in previous years. And that's very true. When I started match betting, it was about 2011, and the landscape was completely different. It was still fairly niche. There wasn't as many people doing match betting, and that's really changed now as we're heading to 2020. So why is that? So as the popularity of match betting has exploded in the last few years, it's started to have a much bigger impact on the profit margins of pretty much all soft bookmakers, and they've had to adapt to this by lowering the amount of bonus offers that they give out. So a good example here is that for a very long time, Bet365 always used to give out a £200 bonus for new customers, and then in the last year or so, they've cut that to £100, and that's been pretty much widespread across the industry. You know, most sign-up offers which were 20 are now 10, and a lot of the recurring offers have even been removed or they've been lowered. The two major negative things that people point out now about match betting is that bookmakers are much quicker to limit and that there's not as many offers, which are both true, but does that mean that we should just cast off match betting and say it's not worthwhile at all? In my opinion, there's still a lot of positives regarding match betting going forward, and the main one is that there's still money to be made and it's relatively easy money. Recently, there's a bookmaker called Virgin Bet, which is quite a big name in the UK. They opened a new bookmaker and they were giving out a £20 sign-up offer. So as long as there's new bookmakers, there's going to be more opportunities and new opportunities. And in terms of the money, the return that you get per hour, it's still really good. Let's say, for example, you've got like an offer which is bet 10, get a £5 free bet. So you're probably going to be able to make at least £3 from that, and it'll take you like 5 minutes. So in terms of an hourly rate on that, that's about £36 an hour. So I think most people would be happy with that. And also everything has to evolve. We've seen it in the poker world. There was a big poker boom in the the late 2000s. And anyone that could play poker quite decently made a lot of money during that time, but now it's a lot harder. You saw the same with arbitrage betting. The people that got on sports arbitrage early on made a killing, whereas it's a bit harder. So, this is just a natural progression of things. So you have to evolve as well yourself. When I speak to people about match betting, something that gets asked quite frequently is it possible to make over £1,000 a month from match betting? Or, what can I do to make over £1,000 a month from match betting? And in today's climate, really, there's two options that people use to make, amounts over £1,000 a month from match betting. And the first one, the legality of it's a bit sketchy and it's against bookmakers' terms and conditions, but it's something that goes on and it's talked about quite openly on a lot of match betting forums, and that is multi-accounting. Now, multi-accounting is basically opening accounts in your friends' names or your relatives' names who would enable you basically to use their address and identity. So again, I have to say that I can't advise this because legally, it's still quite sketchy. But people do it, and that's probably the most common way that people make over £1,000 a month just from match betting offers. The second option that you've got is to build a bankroll with match betting, and then use this risk-free money that you've made and reinvest it into other methods that have also shown to make money long term. Right, so let's look at another strategy now that you can use alongside match betting to make money long term, and that is to take advantage of casino offers. It's also called advantage play. This is something that a lot of match betting sites are starting to highlight. A lot of them tend to highlight the lower risk ones, but I also use a service which highlights some of the higher risk ones, which will still make money over the long term, but you'll get a bit more volatility. I just thought I'd highlight this by putting up my results from September. And you can see, whereas match betting is normally, you'll see that your graph will go straight up and it'll be nice and easy. If you take on casino offers and you take on the higher risk ones, you will get these kind of up and down periods. So you can see over September, we just look here, I did 143 casino offers, varying from high risk down to the lower risk ones, and I made a profit of about 1,280 or something like that, I believe it was. So another strategy that I use is something called value betting. To understand value betting, first you need to understand that there are two different types of bookmakers. There are soft bookmakers and sharp bookmakers. So soft bookmakers are the likes of Bet365, William Hill, Ladbrokes. The bookmakers that like to offer bonuses and incentives to their players, but they don't want anyone that's going to win long term. If you win long term with these bookmakers, then they will ban you. So then you've got sharp bookmakers, which is like Pinnacle over in Asia, and the betting exchanges, which they don't ban winning players, which means that all the best sports bettors in the world will bet with sharp bookmakers. Now, the theory behind value betting is that if all of the best sports bettors in the world are either betting in the Asian markets or betting on the betting exchanges, that the odds in either of these are going to be closer to the true probability than, say, a soft bookmaker. So with value betting, what we want to see happening is the odds moving in either Asia or at the betting exchanges. And one of the soft bookmakers are slow to move their odds. And then if a soft bookmaker offers odds that are above the betting exchanges or above the Asian markets, then that is often deemed as value. And if you bet this often enough, then you'll make money. So just to put a theoretical example, let's say Man City were 1.4 at home to beat Manchester United, and they were 1.4 at Bet365, and you looked over at the betting exchanges and they were 1.37. This would be like a pretty big indicator that betting Manchester City at home at Bet365 would be really good value. And that's all value betting is over time. If you do this enough, you'll see that you make money. You can see here that my results, these are from September as well. This is combined with match betting. You can see that initially it wasn't going too well, but then things picked up towards the end of the month. And after 259 value bets and match bets, I made just over £600. So, but over the long term, this will work. Combining match betting, casino offers, and value betting over the last 2 years, I've managed to make over £60,000 in profit. So I know that these strategies really do work. Alright, so here's a few key differences between match betting compared with taking advantage of casino offers and also value betting. And number one is that you will have losing periods. It's just unavoidable, whereas match betting is very easy going. It's almost like a daily income where you just know you're gonna make some money by the end of the day. With value betting and casino offers, you're gonna have losing periods, so it's not risk free. So you need to be aware of that. And also you're gonna have variance in your results, which means it's not just gonna be you get with match betting, if you got your graph, it's just a nice steady upward curve. But with value betting and casino offers, that's not going to happen. It's going to be kind of up and down. But over the long term, you plot your graph results over like a year, you'll kind of see that upward curve. And the last one is it's an investment of time. Especially with some casino offers where you've got to roll over money. I mean, it's not exactly hard. You just leave your computer on on auto spin for 30 minutes. While you kind of grind through a bonus. But with value betting, again, that's an investment in time. You've got to kind of wait for these value bets to come through, especially at weekends. You've got to be monitoring the odds or using software that monitors the odds. But overall, again, if you wanted to make decent money now from sports betting, it's really tough to do that just from match betting alone, unless, like I said earlier, you're multi-counting on quite a large scale. But if you are interested in, using your match betting profits to reinvest them and make them bigger, then advantage play and value betting are really worth looking at. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll also put a link to my website in the description, which is smartsportstrader.com. I've got a lot of information here about like a simple guide to making money from sports betting. I do the Making a Million challenge, which is a monthly update that I do, where I detail all the strategies that I've been using to try and make £1 million from sports betting. Over the last 2 years, I'm up to over £67,000 in profit, so we're doing okay. So yeah, if you're interested in this type of stuff, it's really worth a look.